Thank you to Dara and Stephen on commentary for us this evening. Confirmation of that awful result from the Republic of Ireland's point of view, beaten 2-1 by Armenia, and that's how the Group F table stands after the result in Yerevan. And it certainly doesn't make for pleasant viewing. Ireland's next match, as Dara mentioned there, is in Lisbon against Portugal on Saturday, the 11th of October. Well, it's stating the obvious, Shay, but that is a massive blow to our hopes of qualifying for the next World Cup.
Yeah, really lost for words, Peter, to be honest. We felt before the game it was a must-win game, and I don't think anyone foreseen in this room and probably in every room up and down the country that we'd lose to Armenia, 105th in the FIFA World Rankings. So what do you say? I don't know. I think the substitutions at half-time, tactically, we felt it was worse the second half. I felt the gaps in midfield were huge. 2-1 to Armenia flattered us, and that's putting it politely. The chances they created, the disallowed goal towards the end, Kelleher being our man of the match again, and goals. I mean, I don't know what they say. I'm a wee bit in shock, to be honest. It's just such a poor performance, and looking then scrambling around probably one of the worst results in our history as a nation in football. Think about Luxembourg, perhaps Cyprus, and maybe the famous Macedonia. That's where that Armenia result ranks. It's a new low for the country. Yeah, it is. It's only the third time in our entire history that we've been beaten by a side outside the top 90 in the rankings since rankings began. Absolutely disastrous. And Kevin, before the game, we talked about the emotional exhaustion after the comeback at the Aviva, which would have taken its toll on the players. And possibly when they went a goal down this evening, that all that came home to roost, that psychologically it had a massive blow on the team, because it's very hard to explain how bad that performance was, because we've players in the Premier League, we have captains, we have leaders, we have experience, and yet the performance was dreadfully poor.
Yeah, we have, it's not with players, and do we have players where we have 100 million, more than 100 million euros worth of back five there. You know, talking about emotional, they come back and drew that game 2-2 the other night, and they should be on a high tonight. And said, whatever that team, Armenia lost 5-0 to Portugal the other night. Think of the emotional low they were on coming into this. They drew 2-2 with Montenegro, they lost 5-2 to Kosovo, 6-1 to Georgia. They lost 3-0 to Georgia the game before that. They have 1 point out of their last 5 games, conceded 23 goals coming up tonight, and that's this year. And they looked by far the better team. It wasn't like a game where we're going to, and listen, we're unlucky, we had shots, chances, and they defended deep. They could have scored another 2 or 3 goals. Well, Macedonia, we had a Macedonia tonight. That was football's hard. It is really hard. You're going away from home. It's not an easy game, and no game is easy. But we were just really, really poor tonight, and it's hard to watch that and see how all over the shop we were, how we didn't look like scoring a goal, did we? Even the goal we scored, I think it was Ida's ball. He didn't mean to pass it to Evan Ferguson. It was a good finish, but like they should have went and scored another 2 or 3 goals tonight. We didn't. Last 10 or 15 minutes to make subs, we still didn't look like scoring, and every time they went forward, if they had a bit more quality, they'd have beaten us 5-1. That's as bad. The worry as well, is that they opened us up so many times, Peter, and you mismentioned there before, Dara mentioned it's Portugal away next. If they can do that, what Armenia can do to us, then I know God help us in that game, because they will rip us to shreds. We're sitting 2 games in, and for me, it's the campaign's over, isn't it? Yeah. And we've said this in numerous campaigns in previous history, is we have to get off to a good start. And again, we're sitting here after 2 games. Yeah, absolutely disastrous result for the Republic of Ireland this evening in Yerevan.